am, and Depressed While Black says there was always a word for autism in the Black community. We just didn't.
Hey, I'm Dr. Julie. I'm a board certified psychiatrist. And so I also grew up in a small town right in the South. And just like in some families, where like diabetes run in the family, cancer run in the family, I definitely come from a family where mental health and substance abuse issues run in the family. I've had multiple family members who've died from complications, really related to their alcoholism / substance abuse and other challenges. So, I distinctly remember being in like 9th or 10th grade and having a family member who was clearly acting different, engaging in a lot of odd and bizarre and just for me at the time very scary like behaviors because it was so different from this person's typical baseline. And talking to my mom about it and my mom acknowledging that they had a mental health issue, but just I was like, what is the diagnosis? What is the name of it? Like, I want to know what the name of this is. I mean, just for understanding, but also I think it's important that we know if we have these kind of issues, what runs in the family, because a lot of times these conditions do have a genetic component, and oftentimes they'll be comorbid, meaning they'll run together. So for example, a person with depression who self-medicates with alcohol, a person with anxiety who also may have an issue with alcohol, like a lot of times these conditions run together. And then also for your own understanding to know that, okay, if all these people in my family have had alcoholism, then maybe I might want to think twice about how much I'm drinking, or I might just want to be more introspective about my alcohol intake because it might be impacting you differently for genetic reasons. In addition to all the social and psychological reasons that are just individual to you, you really may have a genetic tendency to become, more easily dependent on these substances than other people. Maybe it's fun for other people to go out and get hammered, but for you, it might become something that you do every day. That you can't cope without, and you don't realize that people aren't talking about it, that you have those tendencies. So, I'm a big proponent, and again, you don't have to be public about it, but if you do have mental health and substance abuse issues, just really decrease the stigma, call it what it is. If you know what the name of what the condition is, then say what it is. I have a sibling who has a very significant substance abuse history and problem and mental health issues. And, when people will see him in that state under the influence, because I'm from a small town, right? So people want to report back everything. And they'll say, oh, I seen your brother, man. He wilding out. He crazy. He the life of the party. And I just correct him and I say, no, he ain't wilding out. He's mentally ill. He's had a lot of negative consequences at this point, most of his adult life related to those two issues. And so there's nothing funny about it to me. So, I just keep it real direct. I don't even try to go into no details about it. I just say, they say, oh, he wilding out. I say, no, he mentally ill. He has a drug problem. And it'll just cut it off right there because it ain't really nothing else I need to say about it. But it also ain't nothing to be kikiing about, in my opinion. So I just stopped by to say that I think there is definitely power in calling a thing, and particularly if you know that these kind of conditions run in your family, to let people know, particularly, bipolar disorder, autism, schizophrenia, all of these conditions have genetic components, and us just knowing that, it can really help us not only just be empowered, but also be on the lookout, and particularly for kids, get them early intervention when they need it.